from the Pontiac Silverdome, welcome to the Michigan High School Athletic Association State Football Finals. We are moments away from the Class B State Championship game, pitting the Coopersville Broncos against Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. I'm Mark Crawford, joined as always by my friend, the old coach Bill Brandell, and William. The Silverdome is rocking. These Coopersville fans have shown up in force, first time in the playoffs, and they're excited as their Broncos get set to tangle with the Falcons of St. Mary's Catholic Central.
Mark, if the Broncos are as ready as their fans are, we're in for a great ball game. They have really packed this place right here in front of us. Just tremendous spirit so far. A great, great turnout. Their team has got to be lifted by all this support from Coopersville.
You know, Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central actually traveling very well here, as they've nearly filled 4 sections on the far side of the Silverdome, but still only about half the crowd that Coopersville's managed.
Well, we got a chance to see the Monroe team last week, Mark, and they had kind of a sparse turnout, but not today. They've got a lot of support themselves over there. I think we're in for a good ball game and a noisy one at best here.
Well, an interesting matchup. Both of these clubs will come in at 12-0 on their season. Coopersville, the champs of the OK Gold. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central, champions out of the Huron League, and the profile's a little bit different. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central, that you look at right there, really built around their defense. They have given up, only 45, 46 points all year.
Well, they really like to stuff the rush. They only gave up 2 touchdowns by way of the rush in their 9 regular season games, so they pride themselves on defense. We had a chance to see them play, as we said a week ago. They run the ball themselves extremely well, so they're a run-oriented team, defense number 1, and then run the ball.
On the other side, in the green uniforms, the Broncos of Coopersville, powerful offensive club as they rush for practically 300 yards a game. They score about 30 points a game, but they can throw the ball as well.
Well, they are. They've got a good diversified offense. Another profile shows us that they have a lot of backs that they will run with. They don't depend on just one person back there. They've got a number of people that have average well over 6 yards of carry, so you're going to have to be on your toes defensively. You can't key to stop one guy. They got a lot of weapons back there.
Well, the Coopersville fans wearing their green and white, and they've got green and white hankies with them here, and they're having some fun. They played up in Marquette in the semifinals last weekend, and we're told almost 2,000 folks from Coopersville made the 400-mile trek north.
I was just going to say, Mark, 390 miles officially up there for that ball game. That's a long way to go. That's a lot of fans to take with you. That's great support once again.
Well, we missed the coin toss here, so we're not sure who won the toss. But it would appear that Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central will be kicking off to start this football game. Joe Sanderson is your head coach at Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Jim Mearman at Coopersville, and there's some of the Bronco Rowdies.
A few crazies with some green paint on. A little bit different than people with no shirts on than a week ago. We were outside a week ago. Today, a little more comfortable showing that bare chest, but once again, some great support. We love it.
Chris Shield, number 42, will boot it away for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Deep man for Coopersville, Jeremy Merkins, number 15. The Class B State Championship game about to get underway in a noisy Silverdome in Pontiac. Merkins on the return. Weaves across the 30 and out to the 32. And Coopersville will start 1st and 10 right there.
Well, pretty good return on this opening kickoff. Coopersville will start from about their own 32, just straight up the middle. Look for some blocks, weave your way through a little bit. Good ball position right there to start this first offensive possession.
Bronco quarterback is number 14, Lee Menning, who set a school record with 12 touchdown passes this year. Behind him, most of the work done by Evan Cluting, number 9. First carry, Giroux, football's loose, I think. And it would appear that if it was loose, Coopersville will retain possession. No gain, it'll be second down 10.
Monroe Catholic Central will begin with a 50 defense, 2 linebackers that play a 4 rotating back defense, but one of those is a monster, and they'll use him a lot of different places. They'll use him to key on one particular man. They'll use him to double cover a pass receiver. A lot of different looks from that 50 defense.
Cluting is forced outside, battles back inside, and picks up maybe 2 yards on the carry. Good individual effort by Evan Cluting. The senior running back has 1,650 yards on the season coming in.
Boy, 250 carries for Evan Cluting, so he's a busy young man back there. But once again, he's not the only back that'll carry the ball. They have a lot of weapons back there. They like to run it, but they can pass it also. So very diversified offense.
Looks like they'll have to pass here. Third down 8 facing Coopersville on the initial possession of this football game. Menning will throw under pressure, incomplete. Looking for Chad Bacon and left it a little ways behind him. And there you see it again. There are 2 number 33s on the Coopersville roster. The one who's playing is 6'3", 200-pound end Chad Bacon. The other 33 is Rob Dodd. Fourth and punt. That one bounces back to Cluting. Gets the kick away, takes a high hop at about the 35, and will be down right there. And Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central, the Falcons, will start their first possession at their own 37-yard line. Nick Hawkins, a 5'7", 150-pound junior, is their quarterback. He has run for more yards than he's thrown for this year. They have 2 great running backs behind him, Kerry Miller, number 20, and Ryan Bellino, number 30. Great forward body lean for both of them. A little rough start as one of the linemen for St. Mary's Catholic Central jumps into the neutral zone. And that'll be 5 yards. Tacked off against the Falcons. It'll be first and 15.
Well, as you mentioned, Mark, difficult to start with a running game when you put yourself 5 yards in the hole. First and 15 now, but Monroe with those 2 excellent backs back there, Miller and Bellino, they're capable of making that up.
Little quarterback keeper, and Hawkins must feel the clear. 69 yards on the quarterback sneak.
What a quick opener. Nick Hawkins. Quarterback sneak takes the ball. Wow, goes off his left side. Just right in the gap there off his left side. Great blocking up front. Now it's a foot race to the end zone, and Nick Hawkins is going to win it by a mile. He got the 6 points on the board. He's got the Falcons on top, 6-0.
Joel Gross is on to try the extra point. Knocks the kick up and through, and with 9:35 still to play first quarter, just like that, 7-0. And William, I'm sure the Falcon coaching staff saw something in the films before this week that told them to run that play.
Well, obviously they have scouted this team and must have noticed some type of a defensive alignment that allows the quarterback to read the defense, know which way they're going to slant possibly. On that particular side, the linebacker had moved way to the outside, and once the quarterback had split that defensive line, there was just nobody left until the defensive backs were there, and boy, oh boy, Mr. Nick Hawkins just outran those people. Great play. A real surprise opening. You just don't expect to see that, Mark, on the first play from scrimmage, and especially see it go that far for a touchdown.
An electric start for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Shield will boot it away. Now leading 7-0 with 2.5 minutes gone by here in this Class B state championship game. Fielded back at about the 15-yard line by Castaneda. Tripped up as he crosses the 40. Out to about the 42 or 43-yard line. Nice return by Paul Castaneda.
Oh, a great bit of running here by Castaneda as he heads the ball right straight up the field. Really sets up his blockers that way. Now he's able to shake off a couple of tacklers. Hits for the outside now, down the sideline. Got good speed himself as he picks him up and lays him down. Finally tripped up, falls out of bounds. Nice return by
For football at the Coopersville 43, they'll start 1st and 10. That's Lee Menning, their senior quarterback. To Cluding, who is tripped up by Corey Gildersleeve, number 22.
Corey Gildersleeve, one of the captains for Monroe. He's the young man that was injured for quite a while. Got back in the regional playoffs. Does an excellent job at linebacker.
Yeah, Gildersleeve, 6'2", 225, a senior, broken ankle back in game number 4. Returned for the regional final and is back in playing form. Loss is 1. It'll be 2nd down, 11. Cluding finds an opening. Has the first down. Carries into Falcon territory. Down to the 44-yard line of Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central.
Oh, nice bit of running now by Evan Cluding. Rod Flint finally on the tackle for the Falcons. But boy, a nice big hole opened up over on the right side of the offensive line. The Broncos have 2 huge, super big tackles out there, Mark, and that time they went between the offensive end and tackle. Some fine blocking up front for the Broncos.
1st and 10, Coopersville. Starting to look like a shootout here. Castaneda is forward for a couple of yards. Offensive line for Coopersville averages 6 foot 210, but as Bill mentioned, most of the weight at the tackle positions, 250 and 255. Gain is 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Stop on the last play by Brian Bellino, number 30, from his corner spot. Lines up and plays more like a linebacker most of the time. Power sweep to the left as flags go down. Cluding will pick up 5 or 6 yards, goes down right in front of our camera.
Nice job.
And we'll wait and see.
Way to go, guys.
Flag
nice
is in
job.
a position where it's likely some kind of a blocking penalty on the offense.
Well, this is the old student body sweep as Cluding gets the pitch and has got a lot of teammates out in front of him. Great pursuit by the defense from Monroe. The Broncos get caught on the hold. That's what the flag was all about. They're marching back. So that play, although a nice running play, goes for naught. And we will see the Broncos march backwards.
Lyle Sanderson is our referee, a crew composed of mostly folks from the suburban Detroit areas. Penalty will take the football back into Coopersville territory at the 46, where it'll be 2nd down and 20. 7:30 still to play first quarter from the Pontiac Silverdome Class B state championship game. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central leads right now 7-0, but Coopersville has the ball. Draw play. Cluding will get 3 or 4 before the white jerseys simply snow him under.
Well, a nice hole developed there early on this draw. There you see the little fake by Lee Menning as he puts the ball up as though he's going to pass. But the hole closes in a hurry. Good pursuit by the Monroe defense as they stayed home. Did not get caught out of position. The play picks up a couple of yards, but brings up third and about 16.
Mike Skinner, the junior center, leads Coopersville up over the football, followed by Lee Menning there, number 14, the quarterback. And they will throw. Home run ball down the sidelines and incomplete. Paul Castaneda, the intended receiver. Ryan Bellino was back on the coverage for St. Mary's Catholic Central, and it'll be 4th down and punt.
Well, Lee Menning showing us a bit of an arm there, Mark, as he delivered the ball on a line right out there about 35 yards deep. Could not connect with his intended receiver, Paul Castaneda, but a nice arm on the part of Lee Menning. You can see why he has 12 touchdowns already this year.
Including averages about 35 yards per punt for Coopersville. And he would like to get one off about that distance and watch it go out of bounds.
Oh,
this will be close.
That.
Inside the 10. Mark it down at the 7.
Very important part of the game, the kicking game. This time, Evan Cluting puts it right in the coffin corner, about 44 yards on that particular punt. That's a dandy.
Can't do it much better. Mark the football at the 7. And Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central will start there. They've run just one play from scrimmage. And that was a 69-yard quarterback sneak for a touchdown.
That's pretty good average, I'd say.
They'll line up in the power I formation. Hawkins gives off to Kerry Miller. Nothing doing. Kerry Miller has some signs here at the Silverdome. A Mill the Thrill sign, which brings back memories of Mill Coleman, who used to play for Farmington Hills Harrison.
And now up there at your home state school, Michigan State.
Gain is about 1 for Miller. It'll be 2nd down 9. There's that quarterback keeper again. Hawkins pops through the line out to about the 13, maybe 14-yard line. Gain of 4 or 5. It'll be 3rd down and a short 5 facing Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central.
Well, not quite the same results that time on the quarterback sneak, but I guess you could say they're still averaging 35 yards a carry on that play. So excellent call as he sees that a defensive alignment that allows for that little seam to open up.
Long count. Nothing there. I think it was Kerry Miller on the carry, but who can tell as Coopersville hit him immediately.
Boy, that was a stack of people right up in there. I think it was Bellino. Hard to tell those two apart. Number 20 is Miller, number 30 is Bellino, and you got to be quick to pick up those numbers.
Well, they're 195 and 190. 4th down now, and Todd Fountain will go back in punt formation and stands just outside his own end zone. Gets the kick away, fielded at midfield. And Castaneda has it inside the 40, down to the 38. Coopersville will start with great field position.
And by way of the kicking game, Coopersville really picks up quite a bit of yardage, Mark, as they return that punt. 44 yards.
First down Broncos. They trail 7-0. Menning gives to Cluting. Hit in the backfield and dropped. Gildersleeve again, the linebacker. Shot a gap. Losses 3.
Well, Monroe, once again, from that 50 front, they've got some linebackers that they move around. As we said, they play one as a monster back. They line up in different spots, and they will shoot through different gaps. That time it was Gildersleeve's number that was called. Boy, he made great penetration Drops the ball carrier for about a 3-yard loss.
Tell you what, I was surprised watching the replay. He actually read the play and then shot the gap. I figured he must be blitzing. Up the middle. Mark Giroux, the big carry inside the 20. Gain of 22 yards on the play, and Giroux makes it 1st and 10 Coopersville.
Oh, good bit of blocking up there up front. That's Mark Giroux carrying the mail, but some great blocking by Mike Skinner, William Verbeek up there, Joe Biermacher. Boy, did they open up a nice hole.
1st and 10 for Coopersville. On the march, trailing 7-0. They'll mark the football just inside the 20-yard line. Power I formation now. Kluter is met as he reaches the line of scrimmage. Wrestled down. Gildersleeve is number 22. Also in on the tackle, Rod Flint. They'll give him a gain down to the 18 of 2, make it 2nd down and 8.
Kind of strange plays we've seen so far, Mark. They seem to either go for big yardage or they don't go for anything at all. There's not anything in between here so far.
Second down long. Including right side, tries to skirt the end, is dragged out of bounds after a gain of a couple. Well defensed over there. Bellino was there. Had some help from Kerry Miller. No wonder it's hard to tell those guys apart, Bill. They're hanging around together.
They are. They're right there next to each other the whole ball game. They keep a sharp eye for them.
3rd down 6 now, facing Coopersville. Paul Castaneda on the counter. Runs into traffic quickly. Little, if any, gain. It'll be 4th down.
Well, once again, the Falcon defense really stays at home as the counter just nets no yardage at all. Defensively, the Falcons right where they belong, playing their positions. Excellent bit of defense right there.
Whole group of situation substitutions go in for the Broncos on 4th and 6. They will go. The football resting at the 15-yard line. Open on the little out inside the 5 and down at the 1-yard line goes Coopersville's Jeremy Merkins.
Well, Merkins pretty much all alone on this pass play. There you see Lee Menning drop back. He's looking for Merkins all the way out here. Merkins, good concentration as he looks back to the ball, breaks the tackle, kind of tight ropes down the sideline, can't quite sneak it in, but he's got it at the 1-yard line, and the Broncos threaten.
1st and goal, Coopersville. If you were a betting man, you'd put your money on Evan Fluting. There he is, into the end zone, and we are an extra point away from being tied at 7.
Well, Evan Fluting going to his offensive left-hand side, gets behind a couple of blockers, gets to the goal line, then goes up over the top, dives it into the end zone right here, and gets the 6 points on the board for the Broncos.
Joe Biermacher is on now to try the extra point. Having a little trouble getting his shoe on. And Coopersville will have to use a timeout.
Well, Biermacher uses a special shoe to kick extra points.
He's got those big, extra lacy
high tops on that he
shoes
plays most
right.
of the time. Couldn't get it off that time. Got that adrenaline flowing in the locker room when he suited up today. Got the knots too tight. Couldn't get out of there.
1:05 still to play. First quarter here at the Silverdome. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central 7, Coopersville 6, but the Coopersville Broncos will try and knot things on the extra point.
Well, obviously, Coopersville here had to use one of their timeouts to take care of that. They lose one.
Biermacher out of the hold of Jeremy Merkins. It's good. I'll tell you, very good penetration by Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Biermacher's extra point is good. We are tied at 7.
Line drive kick for the extra point by Joe Biermacher. But nevertheless, it's up on the board. As you said, Mark, this may turn out to be a shooter. A lot of good running weapons on the part of both teams here. Let's look at that touchdown once again. Here you'll see Evan Cluting as he comes to his offensive left side, protects that ball as he heads this way. He's got some nice blocking. You can see right out here in front of him. Once he reaches the goal line, though, once again dives over the top and just gets into the end zone for the 6.
Good lead block by Mark Giroux, number 40 that time, 180-pound senior, leading Evan Cluting into the end zone. And Coopersville will boot it away. Evan Cluting handles the kickoff chores for Coopersville. Good high kick is fielded by Bellini out to about the 40. And Bellino and Miller were standing right next to each other waiting for the kickoff to come down as well.
Well, I don't know whether they had a little meeting there to decide who was going to run it, but Brian Bellino decides it's going to be mine, and once he gets it, he picks it, takes it straight up the middle. Good return, good field position to start this offensive drive here for the Falcons.
But Bellino limps off the field and is down on the sidelines on the far side. And that would be a very costly loss.
Well, the Falcons of Monroe Catholic Central have 7 players that go 2 ways, Mark, and Bellino is one of those. We've called his number a couple of times defensively already, and we have obviously seen him running the ball. We might have missed something here. Are we going to have this re-kick?
Well, I think we must have had a flag of some kind, as Coopersville would seem to be out and ready to kick off again. The officials, though, are also talking with Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. So I'm not sure. We'll watch Lyle Sanderson, the referee there, and see if we get a signal. He went over and explained things to Jim Meerman, the Coopersville coach. We're going to kick off from the same spot at the 40 again. That's what makes no sense at all, unless the officials had not signaled us ready for play.
Well, you know, I saw a number of the Coopersville players on the front line looking around wondering why they were not kicking off, and then finally Evan Cluting just simply raised his hand and said, "I'm ready, I'm going," and he kicked the ball. But with this noisy crowd in here, Mark, I didn't hear the whistle that said it was ready for play, and maybe you've hit it on the head here, that the officials simply had not marked the ball ready to go yet.
Boy, what an expensive play for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central if it takes Brian Bellino out of the game on a play that wasn't even a play.
Well, Brian Bellino is not in now on this kickoff.
No, he's on the bench. They're working on one of his legs on the far bench. Kicked off again. This will be Miller. His return is to about the 32-yard line.
Well, on that mix-up, I believe it's going to cost the Falcons not only one of their better running backs for at least a little while, but also about 10 or 12 yards.
Now, Bellino is up now and running. And I would guess while he is limping a little bit, this is a state championship game, and we're going to see that young man back again. 1st and 10. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central, all tied at 7. Final minute of the first quarter. Left side on the carry. Chris Lipford, number 38. Into the ball game now, replacing Bellino. Gain is about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Mark Crawford, Bill Brandell, glad to be with you from the Silverdome. Catholic Central does a lot of shifting around just before the snap. They'll throw, picked off! The interception by Coopersville Scott. Jason Barkle. Two number 21s on the Coopersville roster. It's Jason Barkle, the senior, on the interception.
Well, I saw the same thing at quarterback Nick Coopersville. There was a wide open receiver when he started to throw the ball, but Jason Barkle covered himself in great shape there, was able to make an interception, returned it nicely up the field. That's going to bring us to an end of that first quarter. We've got a great ball game going here at 7-7 as the two teams head to the sidelines here for a moment or two as we change ends of the field. Get that mask on.
Interesting roads for these two teams that led to the Silverdome. Coopersville, one of 3 teams to qualify in the OK Gold, and so the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, they ended up meeting conference opponents. They beat Forest Hills Northern 15-13. South Christian 27-6 before taking on number 1 Kingsford up in the UP and beating them 24-7. St. Mary's Catholic Central beat Milan 21-7. Then needed a field goal midway through the 4th quarter to knock off Millington 9-7. Shut out Robershon, the defending state champions, 21-0 last week.
Well, here we go to begin the second quarter. The Broncos in possession of the ball after that interception. They'll start this offensive drive from about their own 31-yard line. Have excellent field position once again, but that proud defense for the Falcons of St. Mary's Catholic Central and Monroe going to be tested once again.
Bill Ross Dingwall here working stats for us, which we appreciate. Interesting stat here. First quarter, Coopersville 3 first downs, Monroe none. You remember they scored on that long 69-yard quarterback sneak. Never managed a first down, but they're all tied 7-7. And Coopersville will go 1st and 10 from the Monroe 30-yard line. And a little movement. Left side of the Coopersville line will cost them 5 yards. And they'll start 1st and 15. Well, 3 state champions have been crowned here today. This is the 4th and final game of the day. Frankfort made it back-to-back titles, defeating Portland St. Pat 21-7. East Lansing, a standout ball game, defeated Birmingham Brother Rice 14-0. And Muskegon Catholic Central 34-zip over Harbor Beach. Mark Giroux found nothing at all as Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central was coming on the blitz.
Well, a lot of that defensive penetration once again by the Falcons. They give you a lot of different looks up front, confuse that offensive line blocking, and if they guess right and split the right seam, they are in the backfield just about the same time that the ball is. That time they're right on the money. Knocked back the ball carrier for a loss, brings up 2nd and about 15.
Loss was 2 yards on the play, including on the quick pitch right. Finds a little gap, a flag goes down. Gain is about 10 or 12 yards, but I have a feeling we'll get an illegal block.
Well, PK O'Rourke there on the stop, but I think you're right, Mark. We're going to see some kind of an infraction against the Broncos. That was a nice run. That's going to go for naught. That's going to bring the ball back, I'm sure. That'll bring up second down over again, and this time it'll be a mile.
And you see the signal there from Corey Gildersleeve of Monroe pointing, send them back. March them backward. And it's from the point of the infraction. Football back now at the 45-yard line. First down sticks are at the 20. We're second down and 25.
Right.
Coopersville Broncos are going to have to turn left here. They come out.
There they
Spot the football way over at the far hash mark. Second and long. Key here is to try and bite off 13, 14, 15 yards, and it's going to be second and even longer as they jump again.
Well, a little self-destruction. Chad Bacon this time jumps offside. Quarterback really had not even gotten down underneath center yet, Mark. I don't know what Chad heard that time, but obviously a lot of noise here. There's a noisy crowd in here. The adrenaline going, and he just jumped out of the gun there in his eagerness to get over there and get a block on somebody.
Make it second down 30. Story's the same. You need to pick up about 15 or 20 yards here, not the whole banana. Lee Menning, the quarterback, takes the snap. Gives off up the middle. And Giroux finds little, if anything, maybe a yard. Carries down into Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central territory, or it'll be third and still about 30.
Well, Ryan Morin that time from his defensive tackle position was pretty well blocked, actually, but got an arm out, got a hold of the jersey of Mark Giroux, was able to hang on to him and just yank him almost straight backwards. Good bit of defensive play by Ryan Morin, 6'6", 228 pounds, and a senior.
Home run ball. Going to be picked off. Joel Jandro picks it off. We have late flags. Probably a clip on the interception return.
Well, Joel Jandro stays back where he belongs. Good coverage all the way as he's well behind the intended receiver, is able to spot the ball, pick it off, keeps himself from going out of bounds, heads back upfield a little bit. Now he runs mostly laterally, and as he runs laterally, we're going to see the clip here. It's pretty obviously a clip, I believe, as you can see it right there. That's going to mark the Falcons back a little bit, but the important thing is they dodge a bullet here as the Falcons come up with a big defensive play to keep the Broncos off the scoreboard.
They will start first and 10 back at their own 12-yard line. Nick Calkins, the quarterback, has Miller and Lipford behind him, so still not back in the ballgame is Brian Bellino. I've been watching him run on the sideline. He seems fine. Right up the middle, Chris Lipford on the carry. He has 5, maybe 6 yards. It'll be second down 4. Bellino is standing on the sideline, talking to his teammates, not near the coaching staff.
I believe the trainer is there with him. probably discussing how that ankle feels. That's what it appeared to be, some type of an ankle sprain.
Whitford again on the carry. And you see a whole host of defenders. Greg Frank, number 24, was there among others. And it'll be third down and still about 3 facing Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central.
One of those team meetings defensively again. We'll meet at the ball carrier and discuss things.
8-10 still to play here, first half of a 7-7 Class B state championship game between Coopersville and Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Option right, a late pitch to Miller, but every option was covered and covered perfectly by Coopersville.
Oh, great defense against the option that time as the Broncos put 9 people right up front. You can see all the green jerseys right there. There you see quarterback Nick Hawkins get backwards and then tackled. He pitches the ball, but there's nowhere for the ball carrier to go. Great pursuit by the defensive Broncos as they get over and stop option on that particular offensive play.
By the time the replay was stopped, there were 9 Coopersville players within 5 yards of the football. Kick is fielded at midfield by Coopersville. And the return by Castaneda inside the 45. Stopped there by Ryan Morin. And Castaneda gets up and is limping a little bit, as you can see.
Well, once again, the Broncos start with excellent field position as the ball is spotted at about the 44-yard line of Monroe Catholic Central. It seems as though the Broncos have had much better field position to mark in this ball game. Monroe playing most of the game in their end here.
Well, Monroe is still without a first down, are they not, Ross? Still without a first down. Coopersville goes on 1st and 10. Cluting. Left side is stuck by Gildersleeve. Maybe gets a yard.
Corey Gildersleeve is a really excellent-looking linebacker, Mark. He's 6'2", 220-some pounds. He's a senior, and it's easy to see why when he went down in the 4th game of this season for Monroe Catholic Central, they did a little soul-searching and had to come up with some extra effort to replace him. He is a fine-looking ball player in here. Just really tenacious at that linebacker spot in the middle.
He was replaced by Lynn DiCarlo, who goes about 155 pounds, and they say DiCarlo did a great job. Coopersville will throw. It's incomplete. There were 2 receivers over there in the area. Maybe a little mix-up for Coopersville as Bacon and Schumpert were both there.
Well, they were running kind of side by side as the ball is delivered here. Lee Minning looks over there, kind of floats the ball. You can see the 2 receivers, and of course they draw a crowd. Whenever you have 2 receivers in the same area, you can count on some defenders being there as well, and so that play well covered.
3rd down, still about 10. You look into the eyes there of Mike Skinner, the junior center for Coopersville. The T formation this time. Dive back Castaneda. Will have very little before Ryan Morin drives him down. It'll be 4th down and punt time again. Well, the defenses have settled in here and taken control of this football game.
Well, you stole my thought. I was just thinking that same thing, Mark. This started out as an offensive show. As you and I mentioned, we thought we might be in for a shootout here, but all of a sudden things have come to a grinding halt as 2 excellent defenses have taken control of this ball game.
So Evan Cluting will punt from back at his own 43 or 44-yard line. Good high kick, fair catch is signaled for and made at about the 18-yard line by Chris Westover. And it'll be 1st and 10 right there for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central.
It this has to be a situation that the Falcons just are not used to. We have just 5 minutes remaining in the first half of this ball game, and as we just mentioned, they are without a first down. They've got 7 points up on the board by way of the quarterback sneak on their first offensive play from scrimmage. But other than that, Mark, they've been stuffed pretty well by the Coopersville defense.
You saw the time remaining there here, first half, 5:08 showing on the clock. Dive back is Chris Lipford, and boy, he runs into a sea of green jerseys and is driven down. Forward progress will be marked out at just about the 20-yard line. Give him a yard, it'll be 2nd and 9.
Well, the Bronco defense, once again, about 9 people right up there in the face of this running game that the Falcons like to throw at you. Aaron McClusiak right there to help on the stop, one of those big guys up front. He's 6 foot and 185-pounder. Boy, that was just a massive green.
Power I formation this time for Monroe. They try Miller, and there's nothing there again.
Scott Schoenborn on the tackle that time, and I mean that was right straight back. He got a little bit of help from Chad Haskins there from a cornerback position. But once again, Mark, there are 9 defensive people being committed to stop the run by Coopersville. It appears to me that Monroe is going to have to loosen them up a little bit by way of the pass.
3rd down, 8. 8 players this time within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. Option play, and Hawkins has room. Hawkins has the initial first down of this game for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central.
Well, Damon Shumpert is the defensive player that finally gets over there and is able to knock the quarterback out of bounds as Hawkins runs the inside fake very well, draws the Bronco defenders inside, and turns on the Jets outside, gets up some good yardage, gets the first down, finally pushed out of bounds by Damon Shumpert.
97 yards on 3 carries for Nick Hawkins. And this time he'll throw wide open in the flats, but incomplete. Intended for Chris Westover, who was all by himself out there in the flats, but overthrew him.
Well, the Falcons going to a double wideout set that time offensively. Surprises everybody, go to the pass on a first down situation here, and they're able to have a receiver open, but we're not able to connect on the pass.
It'll be 2nd down 10 for Monroe. Dive back, 4 or 5 yards out near midfield goes Chris Lipford.
Single back.
And it'll be 3rd down and 5. The clock continues to roll, showing 3:20 now. Still to play here first half.
Great! Get over here, Great! We're not adjusting.
Option left. Stopped short of the first down is Nick Hawkins. Paul Heisen there from his defensive end spot to make the stop.
Well, Nick Hawkins spotting a little seam up inside on the option play that time, but Paul Heisen from his defensive end spot closes that in a hurry.
4th down 2, and Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central will go. No, they won't. Shuffle back into punt formation.
You got it.
Todd Fountain averages about 31 yards a punt. End over end. If he can get this one to bounce. Well, I thought he'd get a better hop than that. Had it turning over the right way, but it bounced up and stopped dead at about the 19-yard line. And Coopersville will start right there. The fans don't like the mark as it's marked back around the 18.
Well, they got, they being the Falcons did get a good spot on that one as the ball was kind of caught on the first bounce by one of the Monroe Catholic Central players. He got a good break on that one, but you're right, Mark, that was a low kick that could not be fielded. The intended punt returner back there had to back up and just hope that it didn't bounce over his head, be down to way down deep in his end of the field. But, he gets a pretty good spot there now. They're in reasonable field position at about the 19.
Lee Menning will give to his dive back as the flags fly. Jerome finds nothing at all. The defenses are really in control right now. Both lines of scrimmage are being controlled by defensive linemen.
Well, both teams have committed the bulk of their defense to stop the running game. Obviously, both of these teams come in here with statistics that say they want to run the ball, and the defenses have decided, no, you're not going to run the ball. And we've seen some breakaway plays. When the Broncos have had the ball, they've seemed to get a little bit of room off tackle offensively. And when the Falcons have the ball, the soft spot seems to be right in the center. We've seen a couple of long plays outside of that design, but basically not much of a running game sustained by either club.
Penalty is turned down. It's 2nd and 10. Quick out is complete to Merkins. Breaks a tackle and is near the first down sticks. And will have it as they mark him up at the 29-yard line. Menning to Merkins.
Just straight out pass, kind of an easy pass to throw, and then Merkins does a lot on his own as he's able to shake off a tackle or two, picks up enough yardage for the first down.
Clock shows 1:27 still to play here first half. Coopersville and Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central locked up at 7. Evan Fluting runs into a wall and might get a yard out to about the 30. But for all practical purposes, 2nd down and still 10. Coopersville has some fame as home to singer-songwriter Del Shannon and also home to one of my college roommates, Tom Freeland. Saw Tom and his wife Jan here at the football game sitting right down in front of us. This time they fake the out. Little hitch and go, and it's tossed out of bounds. I don't know if it's true or not, Bill, but Tom, when we were rooming together at Albion, told me he was an all-state football player at Benzonia Benzie Central.
Well, you've had a lot of famous roommates, and you and I have done a lot of ball games together. I cannot keep
find
track.
one everywhere, can't you?
Can't keep track of all the people that you've roomed with. I have to have you investigated.
There's a look up toward us, and you see the 7-7 score. 3rd down 10, Coopersville. Draw play to Fluting. Nice run by Fluting. Has the first down and then some. But the clock is the Coopersville Broncos' main enemy right now with just 38 seconds left here first half.
Well, a good bit of faking once again by Lee Menning as he shows that ball, puts it up in the air as he makes his drop, then hands the ball to Evan Fluting. The line opens up as they charge on the apparent pass situation, and that's what makes the hole for Fluting. Boy, he takes advantage of it, but you're right, Mark, they're fighting the clock right now.
Less than half a minute to play first half. Menning will throw, has a man open. Complete inside the 40 to DeMond Shumpert, and I think Shumpert was supposed to pitch to somebody. It looked for a moment like he pulled the football down and was searching for a pitch man.
Well, let's look at it again. Here's Menning. He waits for Shumpert to get open. Shumpert with a nice grab, leaps up, and it looks as though he is looking for somebody. Maybe doesn't see a teammate that was supposed to be coming. Ends up with a good smack in the back as he had his back to the defender. Ends up with a nice gain, but 20 seconds now left on the clock. And we've got a timeout down here as the Broncos will talk things over.
Well, there's the Bronco from Coopersville. 1st and 10 for Coopersville. Football at the 38 of Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. That's a long name, Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Merger between two schools back in 1987. There was a Monroe Catholic Central, which was an all-boys school, and a Monroe St. Mary's, which was an all-girls school. They merged back in 1987, created a new name, and I have a feeling created a lot of happier boys and girls, too.
Could very well be. And they've had an excellent record as far as football is concerned.
So they have.
They have great tradition there and have been in the playoffs 6 times now. Do very, very well of themselves.
Looking for their first state title. Coopersville also looking for a first state title. The playoff experience very different, though. St. Mary's, as Bill mentioned, been here 6 times. Coopersville, their first time qualifying this year. 1st and 10 Broncos. Back to throw, out in the flats. Incomplete. Chad Bacon was there. Well thrown pass. Should have caught it.
Oh, Chad Bacon on an excellent pattern that time. Started downfield, then headed out towards the sidelines. Lee Menning hits him right where it belongs, right in the hands. Just lost his concentration a little bit. Sad puppy when he let that one go. But he'll have a lot more chances, I'm sure.
Chad Bacon has had some big receptions in the playoffs. This time it's Shumpert, who is forward for about 8 or 9 yards, knocked out of bounds and stopping the clock with 10 seconds left. Just the quick out to Damon Shumpert. They will mark the football right at the 30 where it's 3rd down and a long 2. More importantly, only 10 seconds remain here first half. 2 wide outs to the top of your screen. And Menning will throw out in the flats. Oh, what a catch by Shumpert. Goes out of bounds with 4 seconds left.
Mark, when I first saw Shumpert put his hand up, I didn't think he was even really trying to catch the ball. I thought it was over his head. Boy, he reaches up with that big hand, pulls that ball in, and then takes it out of bounds. What a great play. Damon Shumpert, 6'3", 180 pounds, a senior. Oh, what a play.
Mark the football at the 20, and with 4 seconds left, it'll be field goal time for Coopersville. Biermacher will try and knock it in from 37 yards. Just short. Just short of the crossbar and no good. And we have reached halftime here at the Pontiac Silverdome. The Broncos of Coopersville and the Falcons of Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central have played to a 7-7 standoff. You've got the bands coming up at halftime, and we will be back with the second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's halftime performance presented by Coopersville High School Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's halftime performance presented by Coopersville High School Marching Band. The band is directed by Mrs. Luann DeVries and assisted by Mrs. Rose Wiersma. Your band announcer is Ross Conrad. The band is led on the field by drum major Jennifer Couric. Tonight, the band will perform Winds of Sonora, arranged by Jay Dawson, with Jim Palma featured on trumpet and Jennifer Couric featured on F horn. The band will continue with excerpts from the Star Wars epic. They will finish their halftime performance with the Coopersville fight song, The Trio from the High Steppers March by Jarvis J. Wiggers. Drum major, is the band ready to begin their halftime performance? Now, Coopersville fans, rise and join the Coopersville High School Marching Band by singing the Coopersville fight song, the High Steppers March. Coopersville High School Marching Band.
It will be Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central that receives the kickoff as we get set to start second half. 7-7, our score deadlocked. Coopersville and Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. I'm Mark Crawford, along with the old coach Bill Brandell. Glad you're with us from the Silverdome for the Class B state championship game. Cluting will boot it away for Coopersville. Deep back is Kerry Miller for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. This comes down, however, to Chris Westover, and he is stopped inside his own 25-yard line at about the 24. Mike Morris makes the tackle for Coopersville. Very quickly, Bill, looking at the halftime stats, almost dead even in terms of total yards, but a big difference in the way the yards came. The Falcons of Monroe, 118 yards, all on the ground. The Broncos 122 yards, 60 rushing, 62 passing.
Well, the Broncos have divided their offense evenly. Most of the offense coming on one play for the Falcons.
Straight ahead goes Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Gain of about 2. Really on 2 plays for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central, as Nick Hawkins, their quarterback, ran for 69 and 24 yards. 93 of their 118 total yards on 2 quarterback keepers. Second down 7 facing the Falcons. Left side, Kerry Miller dives forward for about 4 or 5 yards, and I kid you not, that's really about as good a gainer as the Falcons have seen out of one of their running backs.
Well, some excellent line surge that time by the Falcon front people up there as they finally are able to drive the down defensive lineman for the Broncos back a little bit. Get about 4 or 5 yards of positive yardage for their ball carrier that time. That's the type of thing we just have not seen in this particular ball game.
Third down 2 for Monroe. Movement, and it'll be a free first down. The other significant moment in that first half came on a kickoff that really wasn't a kickoff, as Coopersville booted the ball away before the officials had signaled the start of play. So the play didn't count, but Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central star running back Brian Bellino fielded the kick, returned it out to about the 45, and came up kind of gimpy on one of his ankles or knees, and has not been back in the ball game. First down 10 by way of penalty. Monroe, Nick Hawkins, the junior quarterback, runs the dive. First back is Lipford. Stopped up and tries to change direction and go left. And finds the Coopersville Broncos there. Paul Heisen makes the stop from his end spot. It is second down 8.
And once again, the Broncos defensively, Mark, are committing 7, 8 people at least to stopping the run here by the Falcons. 2 defensive backs, that's the only people that are about 6 yards away from the ball. Everybody else right up in the face of Monroe Catholic Central.
9 players, you're right, within a yard or 2 of the line of scrimmage. Forward for 3 or 4 yards out across the 40 to about the 41 or 42-yard line with it. Goes Chris Lipford. It'll be third down and about 5. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central struck first, a 69-yard quarterback sneak by Nick Hawkins. Coopersville came back on a 1-yard touchdown plunge by Evan Fluting. Quick look-in pass is incomplete. Up and asking for the interference is Derek Tedora, and he won't get the call.
Well, Tedora thought that he was grabbed there as he tried to get the little look-in pass, just heading right down the middle. The Falcons that time put 2 wide receivers out, 1 to either side, split the defensive backs, and then tried to hit the quick little down-the-middle pattern to Derek Tedora, and he was just held up and the ball not within reach for him to make the reception.
Fourth down 5, and Monroe St. Mary's will punt. Oh, good kick. Drives Castaneda back to the 20. And he'll return it 8 or 9 yards before he is stormed under about the 28-yard line. And that's where Coopersville will start first and 10. Bill, as you and I talked at the half about this first half of play, well, it's all tied up. Both of us had the sense that Coopersville was perhaps a little better off with star running back Brian Bellino on the sideline for Monroe, and with Coopersville's apparent ability to both run and pass, you would think that the Broncos are in a little better position than Monroe as we head to half number 2.
Well, exactly, Mark, as they had about 120 yards of total offense, but they did it by way of a number of plays, both running and passing the ball. The bulk of the yardage for the Falcons coming on those 2 plays by the quarterback that you already described.
Fluting eludes a tackler in the backfield, is finally strung out after a gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Coming very hard was Kerry Miller, number 20. Shot the gap and had the shoulder pads for a minute. Evan Cluting managed to elude him. It'll be second down and about 6.
Little heavy contact over there on the sidelines. Evan Cluting being rudely bumped into his teammates.
1,646 yards on the season coming in for Evan Cluting. A lot of teams would be happy with those kinds of rushing numbers. This is Mark Giroux. Carries for 15 yards and a first down.
And I believe that's the second time we've seen Mark Giroux find a little room right up the middle of that Falcon defense. He gets him going, picks him up and lays him down. Does a nice job, picks up the first down for the Broncos.
6 carries, 38 yards for Mark Giroux, the senior fullback. First and 10 Coopersville from their own 48-yard line. Snap is fumbled. And Menning can do little but pick it up and take a hit. P.K. O'Rourke, number 34, the first one there. Plenty of help was available. Miller was in the area. And I think we'll see number 22, Gildersleeve, show up as well.
That snap just really never handled by Lee Menning as it came squirting out of there. Rolled backwards almost 10 yards. And of course, by that time, the Falcon defender's right on top of it. Actually, the Broncos fortunate enough, Mark, to keep possession here.
Sets up a second down and 20. And Menning wants to throw. A little screen left side. Cluting with some running room and will get most of the 20 yards back.
Well, defensively, once again, it's P.K. O'Rourke who is able to catch up with the receiver on this particular little screen pass. He catches him from behind. Here you see Lee Menning delivering the ball and waiting a long time, letting the play develop. And there you see P.K. O'Rourke just getting the heel of the receiver and forcing him to fall. Nice bit of gain, as you said, Mark, got back most of that yardage.
Cluting would have had the first down. Instead, it's 3rd and 4. Cluting on the draw. P.K. O'Rourke again makes the tackle.
Well, the ball popped loose right at the end that time. And they are going to call it a fumble.
Kerry Miller recovers.
Falcons are going to take over possession. When the ball was first thrown dead, Mark, I thought that it had been thrown dead before the ball popped loose. But then the official signaled that no, the ball was loose before being down, and therefore the recovery will stand, and the Falcons will take over.
Good call, I think. The football was lost as he was being spun and heading down. And things stop as Brian Bellino enters the game and tries to go and goes down before the ball is even snapped. So Brian Bellino is not going to be able to go. He came out, gave it an effort. You can see the left knee seems to be wrapped, and I think that knee just gave out on him.
Well, I think you had it right on the head. I think Mr. Bellino tried to blow a little smoke around his coaches over there and pretend that he was all right. But as a matter of fact, he's going to be all done, Mark, and that's a shame. Excellent ball player, a two-way ball player for the Falcons. We were fortunate to see him have just a great ball game a week ago in the semifinals, and he will be missed. He already has been missed by this Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central team. And that's a shame. As you mentioned, he was lost on a play that really never should have occurred, as the kickoff was taken before the ball was thrown ready for play. And it's just a play that will never appear in the record books, but as far as Brian Bellino is concerned, a big play.
Well, I am going to make a guess at a diagnosis here, Bill, because I had an injury that did a very similar thing to that. That looks to me like a dislocated kneecap. And what will happen when you have that dislocated kneecap is if you just turn it a little funny and put some weight on it, your leg just plain goes out from underneath you. You can feel fine 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour later, even run on it a little bit, but the first time you turn or twist a little funny and put some weight on it, you dislocate again. At any rate, I think that's the last we'll see of Brian Bellino. It's 1st and 10 for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. They called a timeout after the injury. Option play to Miller. Got a good block to turn the corner and is near the first down yardage.
Well, that's just some good speed by Kerry Miller as the pitch gets to him. And there's a lot of green jerseys defensively right where they belong. But Kerry Miller just turns on the jets once he gets the ball. And he just outruns everybody and is able to turn the corner. Finally just runs out of room over there on the sideline. Very close to the first down marker. Going to bring up second, about a half a yard.
Good fake by Nick Hawkins to Chris Lipford, the dive back as well. Suckered in a lot of the defenders. This time out of the power and Fountain. Moving, Hawkins will keep it. Goes right, has the first down.
Well, Nick Hawkins must have been given license smart to run that little quarterback sneak whenever he reads the defense and sees that there's a seam there in the middle. As I'm sure with all of that motion and that power set, that wasn't the play that was designed to be run, but it ended up picking up the first down anyway, as it was a short yardage situation.
Hawkins about 112 yards in this ball game on 7 carries. Looks to throw, in some trouble, down he goes. Back at midfield, Hawkins is run down by Mark Giroux. A big loss of about 15 yards.
And Mark Giroux from his defensive end position does a great job right there of fighting off a blocker, gets to the outside and is able to contain quarterback Nick Hawkins, grabs him by the jersey, just kind of wrestles him down, holds him until some of his teammates show up. Great bit of defensive work by Mark Giroux.
Thought I saw Shane Mooney, the man who was chasing Hawkins around first and finally into the grasp of Giroux. Second down, 22. Hawkins loops it downfield, incomplete. A lot of contact on the far sideline intended for DiCarlo, who did a great job of shielding himself from Jason Barkell, the defender.
Well, both of those players are right there contending for the ball. And of course, fans on both sides, they want a little interference called on the other team. So we got everybody doing that call.
Well, DiCarlo just plain slowed down, kept the defender behind him and the ball in front of him. And the only guy who could have caught it was Lynn DiCarlo. Third down, 22. Inside handoff to Lipford. And he'll pick up 5 or 6 yards. Giroux makes another stop for Coopersville. And it'll be 4th down, 15 and punt. Pretty good seam there, but Giroux dives in and makes the stop.
Well, of course, Giroux is coming from the outside, so the play picks up some nice yardage. By the time Giroux is able to force his way back inside, but he does make a good tackle once he gets there.
Todd Fountain will punt. Kick is fielded back at about the 10-yard line by Castaneda. And he will return to the 19, where it's 1st and 10 for Coopersville. 3:55 still to play third quarter here at the Pontiac Silverdome. Coopersville and Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central all tied at 7.
Well, the two defenses, Mark, picking up right where they left off in that first half, as neither team offensively is able to sustain any kind of an attack at all. We've seen some individual nice plays and some great efforts, but nobody has been able to just put a string of 3 or 4 or 5 plays together at one time. This game's being played right between the 20s here, back and forth.
Menning gives to Cluding, who breaks some tackles and carries for about 8 yards before the defense closes in. On the stop that time, Ryan Morin, number 72.
Once again, Evan Cluting doing a lot of this on his own as he finally finds a seam in there. Breaks loose of a couple of tackles, picks up some good yardage. I see Joel Jandro down there on the tackle also from his defensive safety position.
Both these teams pursued the football so well defensively that you could call 3 or 4 names on the tackle almost every play. Mark Giroux is caught as he approaches the line of scrimmage. Ryan Morin, number 72, is there again. Also down on the bottom of the pile is Corey Gildersleeve.
Ryan Morin is 6'6", Mark, and that time he just reached over the blocker in front of him, grabbed the ball carrier by the jersey and just kind of pulled him backwards. Said, "Whoa, where are you going? You're staying right here with me."
You remember Ryan Morin, though, was looking up at a big man last week against Robichaud. He lined up across a 6'9", 360-pound tackle. 3rd down 3, and it's 4th down. Morin is there, Gildersleeve is there. And there is no room for Mark Giroux, the running back.
Absolutely no place to go at all, as by the time Giroux got the ball, he had 2 or 3 defenders right in his face. A couple of his own linemen just backed up, just pushed backwards. Look at the defensive line surge there by the Falcons. Just excellent play.
Kerry Miller shot the gap and made the first hit. And it'll be 4th down 5. So after an 8-yard gain on 1st down, it's backwards. 2 plays for Coopersville, and they'll punt again. Good pressure that time. What a great kick.
What a punt! Oh, my goodness.
58 yards. 58 yards on the punt. Now more than that.
Oh, my goodness. Evan Cluting. Mark, he didn't just pick it the wrong way. He took it right. Boom! Oh, my goodness. This ball's going to be put in play on about the 9-yard line.
69 yards on the punt by Evan Cluting. Goodness. And it backs up. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central, they'll start back at their own 9. Oh, that's a weapon. Quarterback keeper, flags fly, and I think we've got a face mask.
Be a face mask, exactly, as quarterback Nick Calkins running the option, gets to the outside, the defender right there where he belongs, but has nothing to grab onto except the face mask. There you can see Nick Calkins heading to the outside, the obvious face mask. Boy, that's going to be a big play, as that's going to get the Falcons out of a hole.
Well, here's another obvious one. John Johnson just dropped down to our booth from the Michigan High School Athletic Association with word that Evan Cluting's punt is an all-class record here in the finals. And boy, that was a punt.
Well, I'll tell you, the Detroit Lions could use that punt. That was a big one. Boy, the hang time and the distance, both just excellent.
Sometimes you'll see a punt that goes a long way because it bounces. That punt really only picked up 4 or 5 yards on the bounce. Up the gap and forward for 7 or 8 yards after the 1st down via penalty. Goes Chris Lipford. Mark Giroux, number 40, you'll see right there, make another tackle, and a good, solid tackle.
Boy, he has been a busy young man, as he's one of the leading ball carriers for the Broncos also, as he's a 2-way player for Coopersville. Plays defensive end and plays at that running back position on offense.
Probably the final play of the 3rd quarter right here. That's Fountain, runs left and has the 1st down, fights his way out near the 40. And they're going to say out of bounds, or perhaps just stopping the clock long enough to give him the 1st down. 6 seconds left here, 3rd quarter.
Well, once again, the option. This time the pitch is going to go to Todd Fountain. He picks him up and lays him down. Looks like he's looking for somebody to hit, Mark. He had room outside. He saw some nice green jerseys. He said, I'm going to run over those guys.
Clock shows zeros. We have played 3 quarters. And we are still tied at 7-7. Bill, one of the unique programs of the Michigan High School Athletic Association here at the finals, the Good Sports Are Winners campaign. And the school exhibiting the best sportsmanship at the finals will receive a crystal trophy, a banner, and a $1,000 award from True Value. The Wajak won it last year, and either of these schools could be winners here this year, as great sportsmanship being shown by both clubs out here tonight.
Well, it has been excellent, and right at the beginning of our broadcast, we mentioned the fact that Coopersville in particular, with a great following, as they have their crowd seated right in front of us, and they go all the way across from about 10-yard line all the way down and around the end zone. Let's look at one of the catches that we saw earlier. Here you're going to see Damon Shumpert just reach back with one hand. Look at that. Look at that control. Bring that ball back in, then have the ability to just get out of bounds. That's right at the end of the first half, and stops the clock. Gives the Broncos an attempt at a field goal that ended up short. But, boy, what a great catch.
Well, as you have mentioned, offensively, there have been some great individual performances in this game. Plays or two plays where we've seen terrific effort by one player offensively in particular. But this has been a game controlled by the defenses. After both teams scored early to knot us up at 7-7, and we started talking about some kind of a shootout here at the Silverdome. It has been all defense. We head to the fourth quarter, deadlocked at 7. You begin to wonder if this isn't a ball game that's heading to OT.
Well, certainly would appear that way, as these two teams came out in the second half and just very content to slug it out with each other. And as you mentioned, Mark, neither offense able to sustain anything.
Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central goes 1st and 10 from their own 39 to start quarter number 4. And Hawkins is dropped in the backfield as he heads down the line to run option.
Once again, Mark Giroux, coming from that defensive end position, able to just catch up with Nick Hawkins by the ankle. Drops him for a loss in the backfield, going to bring up second and about 10 and a half now.
Hawkins has been the most effective weapon for the Falcons. He'll pitch to Miller, and Miller going nowhere. Flags fly as Miller is drilled in the backfield, and I think we're going to have a clip or a hold back there as well.
Well, great defense once again by the Broncos as they stuff all the different parts of the option. There you can see the quarterback, no place for him to go. He pitches it back to Kerry Miller. No place for Kerry Miller to go either.
And you saw the infraction right there in the replay. And we're going to march off some yards against Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Is it my imagination, or have we seen 2nd and 25 and 3rd and 30 and numbers like that all night long?
Well, waiting for our statistician to give us one of those little slips that tells us something like that. I don't know whether he went to sleep over there or what's happening.
It's going to be 2nd down and 32.
Well, as you described, Mark, that's 2nd down in another zip code.
There are not a lot of plays in the old playbook that you can call when you're 2nd and 32. Hawkins will hand off. Whitford makes it. Whitford is going to take it 82 yards for a touchdown. And Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central leads 13-7.
Well, that play was actually no different than any play that the Falcons have been running all night. They just got the good blocking that time. Chris Whitford hits the seam. There you see the pull by the guard with the good kick-out block. Then Whitford just turns it on. Oh, what a big play. Mark, that wasn't a 32-yard play. That was a 52-yard or an 82-yard play. My, oh my, lightning strikes again.
Chris Whitford on in this ball game for the injured Brian Molino. Now has 100 yards here in the second half. The extra point try now for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Blocked. That's a free ball. And is grabbed by the Falcons.
Well, it was blocked in there by Greg Frank. I'm not sure where it came from, but he was sure there in plenty of time. There you see number 24. He's 5'9", 165 pounds, a senior. Big play right there as some momentum obviously have been swinging in favor of the Falcons. And that extra point block right there, that picks back up these Coopersville Broncos. They're going to get the ball offensively now and expect them to come out fired up, try to get this one back to even.
10:51 still to play in the Class B state championship game. 13-7 now. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central leads this one. Chris Lipford has 116 yards rushing for Monroe. Nick Hawkins has about 110 yards rushing the quarterback. Most of the yards have come on 3 plays. 2 of them big touchdown runs, the other a 25-yard quarterback keeper.
Well, they have been lightning-like strikes as the Falcons have taken advantage of those big plays. We've been saying all evening long that neither team has been able to sustain a long drive offensively, but certainly the Falcons have shown plenty of offense, plenty of ability to move the ball. They just need those big plays like that to get the points on the board. Entire communities behind their high school football players. Great sports, great sportsmanship, great football game. Boy, they came here to see a game between two high-powered offensive running teams. They haven't seen a lot of that, but they've seen some great football.
Chris Shield will boot it away. Kind of squibs it down the middle. Fielded at the 25 and out to about the 33 or 34-yard line with it from the Broncos, Aaron Dyke, the man who returned it. And it's good field position for Coopersville starting at their own 32.
Well, we have to go all the way back to the first quarter, the very early moments in this ball game, when Coopersville was behind as the Falcons on their first play offensively went 60-some yards with it for a touchdown on a quarterback sneak. Coopersville then took the ball, was able to put some points on the board themselves. Let's see if they can answer now.
Schumpert makes the reception. Fights forward for about 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5. Young man has great hands, doesn't he?
Well, he certainly does. That play just simply a straight-out pattern by Schumpert as he split out. He simply takes the ball without moving downfield very far and then hopes to beat the defender one-on-one. This time the defender able to grab a hold of his jersey, hold on, and wait for some teammates to get over there and help him.
Melenke and Gildersleeve made the tackle for Monroe. Fluting tries to take it right side. Spun down by Scott Boss.
Corey Gildersleeve also there on the stop for the Falcons.
Third down 4. And a big third down play, as the last thing Coopersville wants to do is punt it right back. 20 and counting still to play in this ball game. 13-7. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central out front. Manning will throw, and it's over the head of Jeremy Merkins, 4th down.
Well, a big play there, as you mentioned, Mark. Here you see Lee Manning. He spots Jeremy Merkins over here. Merkins is open, but Manning throws the ball a little too high, does not connect with his receiver, and this puts the Broncos in that punting situation, as you mentioned, and they really didn't want to do that. Falcons a little bit pumped up after that long run. They're going to get the ball back offensively once again.
Evan Cluding, who set a state record with a 69-yard punt earlier, it's a fake, and he's nowhere near the 1st down.
Well, a great bit of defensive work by the Falcons as they are not fooled at all by the fake punt. Remember, Evan Cluding kicked that last punt for all-class record punting. This time he elects to take the ball, try to pick up the 1st down, can't get there, can't turn the corner. Falcons take over offensively. Great field position about the 34-yard line.
Nick Hawkins leads them up. 1st down. Dive back is Miller. And he's forward for 2 or 3 yards. Wrestled down by Paul Heisen. Derek Cook.
Derek Cook in there also real early.
Gain is 2. It'll be 2nd down 8. Nice hole. Lipford. Going to be very near the 1st down sticks. It'll depend where they mark him.
Boy, Chris Lipford, Mark, filling in extremely well for the injured Brian Bolino. One of those running back positions, and there you see Lipford once again. A lot of strength, a lot of quickness. Had a nice hole up front once again. Let's credit some of those offensive linemen. Ryan Morin, Rick Valenci, Aldo Pernia at center, Scott Moss at a guard, Rod Flynn at a tackle. Those people, boy, they haven't had a lot to talk about so far in this one, but all of a sudden in the 4th quarter, those young men beginning to open up some holes in that Bronco defensive front line.
3rd down, about a yard. We are likely in 4-down territory for Monroe. Hawkins on the keeper would appear to have the 1st. They're going to mark him down at the 23-yard line, 1st and 10. .7:45 and counting left to play here at the Silverdome. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central 13, Coopersville 7. And a great ball game between 2 great defenses. 9 men up near the line of scrimmage. Kerry Miller fights for about 8 yards straight ahead.
And all of a sudden, a lot of confidence building on the part of the Falcons, Mark, as they're beginning to string the plays together here offensively. They continue to move the ball downfield as they're taking advantage of great field position, only 15 yards away now from Payburn.
Second down 2. Keeper again by Nick Hawkins. Never does go down. And let's see where they mark his forward progress. He has another 1st down.
Well, Nick Hawkins takes it on this quarterback sneak once again. It's really not a straight-ahead quarterback sneak as he bounced outside somewhere between the guard and tackle in order to pick up those yards. Got about 5 of them. The ball rests now at about the, somewhere between the 10 and 11 as the Falcons can pick up the first down before they get into the end zone here.
Right side, spinning toward the outside, but unable to elude the Coopersville tacklers, Kerry Miller. Fans on both sides here standing now.
Well, down underneath there somewhere, I think you're going to find number 40, Mark Giroux, as once again from that defensive end position, he's the guy that makes the tackle.
Second down, 8 from the 9. Monroe takes it up the middle to Miller again. He's down. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, nowhere to go as the defensive line up front that time very stiff for the Broncos. Joe Biermacher right up in there, one of the captains of this Coopersville squad. Aaron McCuselak also in there. He is playing an excellent ball game from down inside also, Mark.
Third down, 9. First down sticks are at the 1. Left side, maybe a yard for Miller. They ran it to the center of the field.
There's
and
a
I'm
banner.
sure did so to give Joel Gross a better angle for the field goal.
Well,
Gross is on the field.
see that white banner right
you're
there?
right, Mark. They ran the ball and didn't pick up a lot of yardage, but obviously have put themselves in good field position here to attempt the field goal. This isn't a whole lot longer than an extra point now, as Joel Gross will try to put 3 more points on the board for the Falcons.
Timeout is called by Monroe. 3, 6, 9, I think they have 11 players out there. Somebody spotted a problem as they lined up there very quickly. Both the kicker and one of the contained men on the end called timeout. It's going to be a 25-yard field goal try. Joel Gross was a hero in a regional final game against Millington. Hit a 22-yard field goal with about 6 minutes left to win that one. And right here with 4:37 to play, a field goal would force Coopersville to score twice in that 4.5 minutes.
Well, as the points build up, obviously the clock becomes a factor here. Those points are not on the board yet. Remember that we've seen some excellent defense out of these Broncos, as they have some great people up there and up front. And I'm sure that on this particular attempt, Mark, they know that 3 more points on the board would put them in deep serious here. I'm sure they're going to come with the block. You can expect to see some overloading and great penetration.
Remember again, Greg Frank from the side blocked the last extra point attempt by Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Maybe that's what they saw, was Greg Frank in the same spot and thought nobody can get a shoulder pad on him. Last time, Frank came from the top of your screen, and I see him lining up there again. Giroux is up there next to him. Here we go. Oh, he almost got there again, but it's up and good.
Oh, I think that ball might have been kicked right underneath as Greg Frank, once again, coming from an outside position, dove over the top. Let's see if we can spot it. Look for number 24 now. He's in great position. There's body extends. And I think it does, Mark. I think the ball goes right out from underneath. Great effort on the part of Greg Frank. And let's credit Joel Rose. A great kick. Puts 3 more points on the board for the Falcons.
Well, the Coopersville faithful are standing for their club. They trail 16-7 with 4:30 to play. And the Broncos will need to take this kick, score a touchdown, and then find a way to get the football back in 4 minutes and 31 seconds.
Well, that's a heady task against this Falcon defense. They have been extremely tough in this second half. The Broncos have been able to have an individual player to pick up some nice yardage. Kerry Miller, Chris Lipford, those guys being running the ball for the Falcons, but we haven't been able to see the Broncos answer with their trying running back. Evan Clooney just hasn't been able to break it loose with a big score. He's had some 10, 15-yard gainers, but nothing to match those long runs that were put on the board by the Falcons.
You saw the Joe Knows coaching, Joe Knows winning sign. That for Joe Sanderson, the head coach at Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. And he has his club 4 minutes and 30 seconds away from a state championship. They lead 16-7 and now must hold off the Coopersville Broncos. I'll tell you what's great, Bill, when this ball game is over a few minutes from now, the fans on both sides of the Silverdome are going to stand and give their teams great ovations. Win or lose, great support from both Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central and Coopersville. Shield will boot it away. Merkins is the deep man. This is a squib kick. Fielded at about the 30-yard line. And some running room. Outside, Castaneda is across midfield and down to the 48-yard line of Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central.
Well, certainly no quitting the Broncos with Paul Castaneda. He's been the guy that's been running kicks back all evening long here for the Broncos. This time he gets the ball, finds some room to his offensive right side, gets some pretty good blocks, shakes off the tackle, hits for the sideline, puts the Broncos in great field position at the Falcon 48-yard line.
Here they go, 1st and 10. Lee Menning out in the flats and incomplete. Intended for Chad Bacon. Threw it over his head and out of bounds. Stops the clock with 4:10 to play.
Well, the Broncos obviously fighting the clock now as well as the scoreboard. Throwing that pass to the outside where even if it is caught over there, the receiver can get out of bounds to stop the clock. And that's the type of offense I'm sure we'll see come from the Broncos throughout the rest of this ballgame.
The out intended for Shumpert, incomplete. And read very quickly by Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central as Shumpert saw the football and a defender arrive at the same time. It'll be 3rd down 10. Big play right here. It's caught! Oh, inside the 5 goes Devon Shumpert.
Well, Shumpert running a little out pattern in the play before this. Stretch the foot up. Watch the pump fake here. Lee Menning cuts. Shumpert turns and goes deep. Menning delivers the ball. Gets the left stride, reaches out. Takes the ball away from the defender. Catches the inside. Gets picked up at the 4-yard line. Great play there by the Broncos.
They'll mark the football at the 3. There are 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to play. Clooney on the left, knocked out of bounds. He'll lose a yard.
Boy, about 4 Falcon defenders over there as Evan Clooney got the ball, got the pitch, headed to the outside. All kinds of white and green jerseys over there in front of him. Corey Gildersleeve, Kerry Miller, the linebackers, both of them over there. Great little defense.
2nd down and goal. I would not be surprised to see Coopersville throw it into the end zone. And they will. They run a little pick play. Looking for Jeremy Merkins there. It's incomplete. Schumpert tried to pick off Merkins' defender, but it's incomplete. Third down.
Well, Shumpert's got to be drawing the most attention with those great hands that he's got. He's the tall receiver. He's 6'3". He heads on the inside route. Outside, Jeremy Merkins tries to take advantage of the pick. But as you described, Mark, the pass well over his head falls incomplete.
Third down goal from the 5. Simply thrown away by Lee Menning as the pressure was coming in the direction of Damon Schumpert. Timeout will be called by Coopersville.
Well, I see Ryan Morin in there defensively putting on some pressure. I also see Chris Lipford in there putting on some pressure.
Now, Coach, I'll tell you, you need, if you're Coopersville, 2 scores anyway. You think you might go ahead and take your field goal here, onside kick, and try and score again?
Well, that's exactly what the Broncos need, Mark. They have to score twice, as you said. They're in great field position here to get the touchdown. That's the decision, really, that has to be made. Boy, you're right there on the 4-yard line, and can you get it that close again in the 3 minutes and 31 that are left? On the other hand, if you get the 3 points right now, you put yourself in position that if you do get the touchdown, you can win the ball game. So you're right. You've got to just kind of peek inside the head of Coach Jim Mearman and see what he's going to decide to do here. He's got a decision to make.
Jim Mearman, the local boy made good, if you will. A 1,000-yard rusher at Coopersville back in the 1970s. Went on to play college football at Grand Valley. Has been coaching at Coopersville now in his 7th year. And there you see what the Broncos so desperately want to reach, the goal line. And they will go on 4th down and goal from the 4. They trail 16-7. P.K. O'Rourke read it all the way from his end spot, has the interception, and that would seem to be the ball game.
Well, P.K. O'Rourke smells out this screenplay. The ball intended over there for Evan Clooney. He's got some blockers in front of him, but P.K. O'Rourke sneaks around behind, gets inside those blockers, takes the ball right out of the arms of Evan Clooney, and then heads upfield with it. And you're right, Mark. What a big play defensively for the Falcons. Holy moly, what a quick turnaround. Got to be a heartbreaker for the Broncos.
3 minutes still to play in this one. 1st and 10 for Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. They run dive. Coopersville stops them for maybe a yard.
four Falcon defenders over there as Evan Cluting got the ball, got the pitch headed for the outside. All kinds of white and green jerseys over there in front of him. Corey Gildersleeve, Terry Miller, the linebackers, both of them over there. Great for the defense.
Second down and goal. I would not be surprised to see Coopersville throw it into the end zone. And they will. They run a little pick play. Looking for Jeremy Merkins there. It's incomplete. Shumpert tried to pick off Merkins' defender, but it's incomplete. Third down.
Well, Shumpert's got to be drawing the most attention with those great hands that he's got. He's the tall receiver. He's 6'3". He heads on the inside route. Outside, Jeremy Merkins tries to take advantage of the pick. But as you described, Mark, the pass well over his head falls incomplete.
Third down goal from the 5. Simply thrown away by Lee Menning as the pressure was coming in the direction of Damon Shumpert. Timeout will be called by Coopersville.
Well, I see Ryan Morin in there defensively putting on some pressure. I also see Chris Lipford in there putting on some pressure.
Now, Coach, I'll tell you, you need, if you're Coopersville, 2 scores anyway. You think you might go ahead and take your field goal here, onside kick, and try and score again?
Well, that's exactly what the Broncos need, Mark. They have to score twice, as you said. They're in great field position here to get the touchdown. That's the decision, really, that has to be made. Boy, you're right there on the 4-yard line, and can you get it that close again in the 3 minutes and 31 that are left? On the other hand, if you get the 3 points right now, you put yourself in position that if you do get the touchdown, you can win the ball game. So you're right. We've got to just kind of peek inside the head of Coach Jim Mearman and see what he's going to decide to do here. He's got a decision to make.
Jim Mearman, the local boy made good, if you will. A 1,000-yard rusher at Coopersville back in 1970. Sideline asking for a timeout, and it took the players a good 10 seconds to call it.
Aaron Matusiak that time from his defensive nose position on the stop. The Broncos with their backs against the wall. Not only do they need 2 scores, but they need the ball back. They've got to put a halt to this Falcon offense, and they got to do it in a hurry. Down to 1 timeout left.
You can see the tomahawk chop coming out here on the far side.
What do you think
Folks from Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central celebrating what they believe will be a state championship. Bill, looking down in front of us, I see some uniforms from the South Christian Sailors, as some of those folks who've made the trip in support of Coopersville.
Well, once again, it's one of those situations where a whole community gets behind one of their favorite sons when it comes down to playoff time. Communities kind of forget individual school loyalties, and they get behind the team that's scoring, the team that's making it this far to the Silverdome, and that's a beautiful thing to see, Mark. We've seen that all around the state of Michigan. Areas that have 2 or 3 different high schools very close together kind of join together and help out each other as one player or one team is exceedingly excelling in athletics. The whole community will join in support. That's what we're talking about with the sportsmanship reward. That's just a beautiful thing to see.
Second down long. Might do it. Carry by Miller. If he has the first down, this game's history. Looks like they're going to mark him just shy.
Oh, a good bit of power running up inside by Kerry Miller once again. As over here on the sideline nearest us, things get awfully quiet, and they have not been quiet through this whole ball game, as Coopersville's fans have been extremely vocal here in their support.
Third and a foot. Hawkins has kept on this situation most of the night. Does again. Hit quickly, and we'll have to see where they mark it. I'll tell you what, they didn't give him much of anything. Football is marked right where it was before, on the 43-yard line, and he's going to be short, I think. It's fourth down. Well, if you're Joe Sanderson from Monroe, are you going to take a chance and go on fourth here?
Oh, I think definitely, Mark. You let the clock run down. You get to use up another 25 seconds or so if you run the ball. We got pretty good field position. Remember that the Broncos would have to score twice. So definitely, I think you go for it.
Not gonna make it. Oh, give Coopersville credit. Great defensive stand. They're gonna get it back. Only a minute 12 to play, but Coopersville will get it back.
Well, Chris Lippard got the call offensively. Tries to run up in behind that big offensive line of his. Could not pick up the yard. And you're right, the Broncos are going to get one more chance here offensively. Obviously, they got to do something in a hurry. Just 1 minute, 12 seconds left on the clock.
Lee Menning going to be forced to air it out. He has Schumpert to the top. Castaneda closer to us. Sends it over the middle, intended for Schumpert, but well over his head.
Well, Schumpert that time made his pattern to the inside, and it appeared as though Lee Menning expected him to go outside once again, as the ball thrown well away from any receiver or defender in that particular situation. Stops the clock, though. 54 seconds now remaining. The Broncos will have a last gasp effort here, try to get some quick points.
This time, split down this way is Merkins, and they'll throw it over Merkins' head, incomplete, third down.
There you see the ball thrown well over the head of Jeremy Merkins. Merkins not really open, as the defensive backs for the Falcons are playing in a safety position back there. They are giving the deep receivers a good cushion. They're going to let them catch anything in front of them. They're just not going to be beat deep here.
Intended for Merkins again. Pass a little bit low, hits the turf. It's fourth down. And so with 45 seconds left here, Coopersville's first problem is they're looking at 4th down. That ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage by one of the defensive linemen. That's the reason it fell short of Jeremy Merkins.
And it appears as though the Broncos are trying to set up the little hitch-and-go pass here, what we call the flea flicker.
They throw it behind DeMond Shumpert. Ball will go over on downs. And the Class B state championship will belong to Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Standing ovation on both sides of the stadium as we expected for their teams.
Oh, what great support. This Coopersville crowd, Mark, is just phenomenal. And as you mentioned, this ball game not over yet. And as their offensive team came off the field, a standing ovation for those young men, supporting them all the way. A great effort here on their part. This has been just a great ball game.
Quarterback Nick Calkins will simply go down on one knee and will probably have to snap it one more time. Jim Meerman from Coopersville sending in some folks who are probably being given an opportunity to play a down or two in a state championship game at the Silverdome.
Well, the Broncos of Coopersville call their final timeout, I believe, stopping the clock. As you mentioned, Mark, that's going to force the Falcons to snap the ball. We have 32 seconds left, so they can snap the ball and just let this one run out.
Now you see a very disappointed Chad Bacon, the 6'3", 200-pound senior for Coopersville, but tomorrow morning or the next day or a week from now, these young men are going to wake up and realize what a great season they've had as they found themselves playing on a day at the Pontiac Silverdome when about 700 high school football teams are sitting at home.
Well, a great season on the part of both of these squads, coming in here 12-0. Just some great football experiences for all of these young men. And boy, you've hit it on the head, Mark, in a day or so when they can look back and remember this crowd, and remember the situation of playing in the Silverdome for a state championship. Those are great memories.
Lots of players going in and out now. It'll be 2nd down and 13 facing Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central. Back down on one knee. The officials signal the clock to continue. And that will probably do it.
Well, the Falcons just will let the clock run as they do not have to snap it again. And you're right, this one is in the history books, Mark.
Great ball game, great effort by both Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central and Coopersville. But it's the Falcons of Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central who are your 1991 Class B state champions as they defeat Coopersville 16-7. Stick with us. The trophy presentation is coming up, but we'll watch the winning touchdown again. 82 yards, Chris Lipford.
Well, once again, Lipford just with some great blocking up front, and he takes advantage of it as he finds that seam, and it's open, and he's looking straight down the field, turns on everything he's got. Nobody's able to catch him. And he lays it down, puts the winning points on the board for the Falcons. Very memorable touchdown. Lightning strikes against the Broncos in favor of the Falcons, and Monroe Catholic Central becomes a state champion.
16-7 is your final score. Monroe St. Mary's Catholic Central, the state champs in Class B.
Broncos of Coopersville. And now, Mr. Flynn and Terry Davis will present the Class B championship trophy to the Falcons. Congratulations to Monroe, St. Mary's Catholic Central, the Falcons, the 1991 Class B Michigan football champions.
Number 1! Number 5!